Iyer, practicing pediatrician for the last 31 years. Last 1.5 years has been a tough time for all of us because of only one disease, corona or COVID-19. And recently there has been a lot of talk in India about the third wave. And especially this third wave is likely to affect the children. So now let us look into these facts as to how the waves get affected, how children are going to get affected. So now when we get into this third wave situation, the people have postulated that in the first wave, the adults were affected. In the second wave, those who were not immune were affected. So now we have already got an excellent immunization program going on for all communities of all age groups except the children. So the specialists feel that the children are a vulnerable population who could get affected. But try to understand that a lot of serosurveillance studies which has been done recently showed that a lot of children between 10 and 17 showed a good amount of seropositivity of the antibody, which makes us think that probably these children got the disease, did not suffer much from the disease, and they are overall doing better. But that doesn't mean that they cannot catch the disease. So understand, at every stage of the disease, we have to prevent the spread of the disease. So masking, social distancing, hand hygiene, cough hygiene, sneeze hygiene. By hand hygiene means you have to wash. If you don't have sanitizer, soap and water is the best agent to destroy the virus. Sanitize when you don't have soap and water, and please keep social distance. Even if it is amongst your closest friends, relatives, if you are meeting them after a while, a social distance will never hurt you. A distance of more than 1 meter has been proved to be very efficacious in preventing spread. We can also understand that children, it is very difficult to mask them. So children between 2 to 5 can be gently trained to wear a light mask. So this will help in preventing spread of the disease. And below 2 years, there is no recommendation of masking. Now we come to children. Children are very delicate both mentally and physically. So it is important that we take care of them in all aspects, not just treating a disease, not just treating a fever, but understanding that they have a mind which is growing, and we have to tackle that aspect very importantly. We are getting a lot of patients who have become obese because of lack of physical activity. A lot of patients who are having a lot of psychological problems, especially those who are getting into the teenage, because they are not having their peer group interaction, they are not having social interactions. There are a lot of small newborns who have never seen a normal human being other than their family. So we really don't know what kind of mental impact this is going to occur in the children. So understand that children have to be tackled in a very big way. People ask, just because there is a third wave, should I keep my kid at home? Should I not send down? That's not the concept. The concept is all of us have to be safe at all times, whether it is a kid or you. Not allowing the kid to go down is not a very correct thing, because the child has to interact with the peer group. But you can be safe. You can request the kid to wear a mask. You can request the child to come back and sanitize himself and clean himself. So understand that in today's scenario, if your child gets fever, what happens? Now this is rainy season, for example. A lot of influenza virus is in the community. So we have a situation where you have got fever, cough, cold, you may have some loose motions, loss of appetite. This is common for most of the common disease. But understand one interesting fact which we have learned from adults are that loss of sense of smell and taste is quite unique for the SARS coronavirus. So if you get this symptom in a child, then we can be alert that the chances of it being corona is quite high. When a child gets fever, the first principle of management would be to isolate the child and prevent the child from facing the senior citizens in the house. It's very sad to notice in our clinics that the children are brought by their grandparents and they want to come in and they want to handle the child, and especially the child is having fever. The concept is that in this corona, it is the senior citizen we have to protect. Children, as we explained earlier, 90% of them have a very mild course of disease and they generally do well. It is the senior citizens who face a lot of issues and problems. So first and foremost, if your child is having fever, see that you isolate the child and protect your seniors. This message should be loud and clear. Now, the simple principle of managing these patients with fever is try to isolate them, keep them in one place. The others in the house should preferably wear a mask so that they don't spread the disease. See that you swab your house with ordinary soap, because soap is the best agent to kill the virus. And the child, whatever plates, glasses, spoons the child uses, see that you wash it thoroughly with soap and water. Keep a safe distance from the child. If the child in a day or two recovers fast, then you're okay. But if symptoms persist, if there is very high grade fever, patient is having cough, or patient is having a lot of diarrhea and loose motions, consult your pediatrician and consider testing the child. We need not do a gamut of tests. Like, it's become a common fashion, like the adult physician, just go and take a CT scan chest, no need to do an RT-PCR. I'm sorry to say, please don't do that. CT scan is high radiation to a growing child. We do not want the exposure to radiation to the child. We would prefer if we get a proper diagnosis. If we get an RT-PCR, this is the simplest test we can do. There are a lot of tests available, rapid kit, antigens, so many tests available, but a standard gold standard for COVID diagnosis is RT-PCR. We learn from adult physician, but that doesn't mean the child is an adult. That does not mean the child needs all the complicated antivirals and drugs that the adults are given. Understand, our child needs what? Good protection. So see that you maintain the nutrition of the child, maintain the hydration of the child, and try to supplement some vitamin D. Why I am mentioning vitamin D is because invariably in the last 1.5 years, because of lockdown, the kid has not gone out, has not been exposed to sunlight. And as we know from all the studies in the recent past, that vitamin D definitely helps in the immune system. Standardly prescribed are some vitamins and some vitamin C. These you may consider, but it is better that you stick to good food, nutrition, hydration. Simultaneously, the important thing that we should understand is the child should be kept happy. So, fever is a common symptom of the child, and the simplest and the best medicine to tackle fever is paracetamol. Try and understand, do not use more drugs other than paracetamol, because we do not know what is the situation, any bleeding problems and other things. So it's preferably to avoid the NSAIDs unless specially required or a pediatrician recommends it. So simple paracetamol and a simple sponge, a lukewarm water sponge to bring down fever is the best way. Keep the child open in a properly ventilated room and proper circulation, and fever will come down, and over a few days the disease process naturally goes down. Because of the lack of ACE receptors, generally the affliction of pneumonia in a severe form is not seen in children. But an interesting thing which has been noticed amongst children is the multi-system inflammatory disease, which comes as an immune response a few weeks after they have developed corona. We have patients who come down with severe critical condition few weeks after they have had mild symptoms. The antibodies are very high and you find that they have got this inflammatory condition. This is easily treated if identified in time, and generally you do not need very serious the monitoring, but only specific monitoring during that short period, and most of the children recover. So keep in mind that a child can get the disease. There is a concept that probably in the next wave, if more patients are affected, large volume of people are affected, then large number of children could be affected, and we might need that critical care backup for these patients, because a small percentage of these would definitely become a little more critical than normal. So Indian Academy of Pediatrics has already having a lot of modules for training pediatricians. The governments are doing a good job. They have created modules. Most of the places, the backup facility in the form of ICU or special care units are being taken care. Pediatricians are being aware and sensitized to the fact that this corona can come. But understand, don't be scared. So basically, when we have fever, we have a spectrum of various diseases that we have to consider in this present scenario. COVID being one, and the other common thing is flu. As I just mentioned previously, one interesting differentiation between the ordinary flu, where you have fever, cough, cold, which symptoms are similar to COVID, are that the loss of sense of smell and taste, which is quite unique and interesting thing which has been found in COVID patients in a lot of adults, and which we can take a lesson and treat the children. So basically, when you have COVID as a disease, RT-PCR becomes a benchmark to diagnose rather than doing specialized tests or going for CT scan or X-rays. This should be reserved for the select critically sick patients. So basically, COVID, you have the mild type, a little moderate and a little more severe variety. This I'm talking of children. Adults also are the similar manifestation. So in children, the commonest manifestation is fever, cough, cold, and lots of patients have diarrhea, loose motions, and irritability. So try to understand that this has to be treated very symptomatically. We have to boost their immune system by giving good nutrition, good hydration, good food, and basically the family should understand that even if your child is having COVID, it's very simple to treat. Paracetamol is the benchmark of treatment as far as managing the fever, along with managing by sponging the child, hydrating the child, keeping the child open. If the child is vomiting or not accepting oral paracetamol, we have the option of using suppositories if it is available at your center. The moderate COVID, preferably where the child has got more respiratory symptoms or child is having a lot of diarrhea and dehydration or maybe some CNS manifestation, is preferably managed in the hospital setup where select COVID centers are there. So we have the severe COVID where the patient is quite sick, may have respiratory problems, CNS problems, have to be managed at a highly specialized center with the best of competent intensivist. It's important in the family now that the gut health and general nutrition has to be maintained. We are finding because of inactivity, lack of fluid intake, lack of nutritional food, a lot of constipation cases increasing. So it's important that we see to it that we take care of the constipation by providing proper fibrous food, a lot of fruits and vegetables, and take the appropriate treatment with the pediatrician for constipation as and when required. So it's important that we understand that Corona has given us a chance to get family values together, where families are staying together, we are sharing our work, we are respecting the people who shared the work for us in the past, and we are respecting the value of good, wholesome home food. Because time has come actually, the pediatrician's work has reduced drastically because children are not falling sick because they are not eating outside food. Please understand that children are less vulnerable. They do not manifest with critical COVID as compared to the adults, that they'll end up in a lot of complications. Take care of the children, take care of their health, take care of their immune system, and take care of your family. Most important, all of you should maintain a calm mind. Do not lose your cool. So what happens is, see, it's very scientific when you talk this, because if you're in a cool mind, if you think logically, even if you get fever, you don't panic. You follow certain systematic protocol of isolating, waiting, doing the right test, and then treating if required. Not just because you get corona you have to be hospitalized. In the beginning, I remember we had certain centers where patients used to be flooded even with the word corona. Now most patients are saying we will manage corona at home. See the difference in 1.5 years. As a medical person, I have learnt a lot. I am still in the learning phase. We do not know a lot of things. So in this scenario, instead of jumping to conclusions, do not believe the various social media universities which can mislead you. Talk to your pediatrician, talk to your doctor. Do not conduct unnecessary tests when not required. Stick to basic medicines. As I explained for fever, the most important is just paracetamol. No need to jump to antibiotics. Patients are nowadays asking, give antibiotics, give that. No, not required. Just because you have corona, not required. Be patient, maintain hydration, and I think you will get out of this scenario. Maybe in a year or two, corona may remain endemic, but then in the long run, mankind will always succeed if we are very logical and not irrational. Thank you.